Starting on page 160, we're going to spend quite a bit of time working with color. Open the file L6 Start 1 and save it as directed on page 160. We're going to start by scrolling over, finding this logo that's over here. We're going to go to the Colors panel and start by changing the CMYK. Since we watched the color video, we should know what that stands for. The C is going to be 92. The M is 65, and the other two are 0. You'll see that it creates a really pretty blue. We want to save that blue as a new swatch. So create new swatch and call this the logo background. We actually want it on the color though, so I'm going to, on the fill, I'm going to choose the logo background that I just chose. Then with your selection tool, select the outside of the aqua, and we are going to fill it with this new color that we just created, the logo background. Now if you'll click the down arrow in the top corner here, we're going to open the Swatch Libraries menu, and we're going to go to Color Books and Pantone Solid Coated Library. So open that one up. You'll see there's a variety of colors. I hope you noticed as you were scrolling through how many other color libraries there might be. We're going to find color number 116, which is this one right here, and just click on it and it's going to add it over here to the color swatches. Whoops, I had that selected. I'm going to deselect it so I can add it to my color swatch. So it's now over here in the color swatch. We're going to use that color to select this little tail from the Q and the letters at the bottom, and we want to fill it with that new one that we just chose. And the stroke color is supposed to be none. Now these colors that we added to our color swatches, we added these two. We are going to create those into a new group because we need to use these again. So click one and shift click the other. In our menu here, we want to go to New Color Group. Call this one Logo, and it moves it down as a group all to itself. Okay, so click away from those so you don't have that filled. Be sure that this is not selected. We're going to double click in the logo background color, which was that blue one that we made, which brings up this menu. Click the global color, and the K slider we're going to take over to number 20. It's just going to change that color a little bit. And then that color, well, we're going to add another color to this grouping. On the next row up, there's one that's called K90. Click it and drag it down to our group, and then we can move it over once it's down there. Whoops. Uh-oh. Let me get it back down there. There we go. That one's supposed to be over there. We want to select this logo, this shape over here, copy it, and paste a copy. Put that one right underneath it, and we're going to play around with this second one. So go to Edit and Edit Colors and convert to CMYK. And then go Edit and Edit Colors and Recolor Artwork. This brings up a whole nother color box that we're going to work with. We're first of all going to close this extra color group. That's just a little toggle switch over there. Click on Edit so that we can edit the color. We want to be sure we're in the right mode. We want to be in the CMYK if it's not already there. Click this link, the Harmony link, to be sure it is linked so that it will affect the colors out here. And then holding the Shift key down, we're going to take this circle at the top and drag it down. You can look at the illustration on page 167 to kind of see how far. And the brightness bar, we are dragging over. I don't remember how far we did that. Now we want to go back to open this sidebar up. We have a new group here. We're going to go to Show Color Group, which was this, and then create a new group. So that's this new one that we've just been playing around with. To name it, just double click on the name and call this one Logo 2 and click OK. And it should be over in our swatches panel when we click OK. Yes, we want to save it, and then there is our new color group. And you should have your second one colored as we have done. Next, we're going to be working with the colors in this bottom bar. With your direct select, we're going to select the bar and the lettering. So we got it all select. Go into Edit, Edit Colors, and Recolor Artwork. That'll bring up our menu again. And up at the top, we're going to look at the Harmony Rule menu. That's this one. And choose this top one. You can see that it only has two colors, and once you choose it, it has recolored your bar at the bottom. We want the purple to be on the top, so we're going to take it and drag it above the other one, and you can see it automatically makes the change. From your Colors menu, choose number 1, and down at the bottom, be sure you are on HSB. Then we're going to change the numbers at the bottom to 360, 87, and 84. And you can see what that's going to do as well. This is a color group that we are going to want to save to use later. So in this side over here, we're going to add a color group with this new color, and we want to call this one Logo Bar. And click OK. Next, we're going to work on the background of our picture. With your color swatches open, be sure to have Show Color Swatches clicked. And then we're going to work on the gradient. So if your gradient is not turned on, be sure that you turn on the gradient panel. Whoops, I don't want it over there. Let me put that back in here. Okay. So we're going to click on the gradient panel and click on the gradient slider so that you can see the colors. We want dark orange, which is this first one on the second row. Drag it down on top of that color box. And then we're going to look for CMYK yellow, which is probably this one. Put it on the other side. Change it from linear to radial. So we've got this new one, and we want to make a new swatch. So over here, go to New Swatch. And this one is going to be called Background Gradient. So you can see that it goes into our swatches. Let's show all color swatches. So here's our new one that we just created, Background Gradient. In your Layers panel, turn on the background. And then we want to select this outside edge, which is a big square in our background. And we want to fill it with this new gradient that we chose, or that we created. Now click on one of the stars, which will select all of them. And in the fill box, we also want to make those gradients, the same gradient. And yes, they do show up really well because the gradient goes from dark to light. You want to kind of play around with this gradient and the darkness. You can do that by dragging one of them closer to the other one, which would make it a little darker or lighter, depending on what you would like for that. In the Swatches panel, next we are going to click on the Libraries menu, open Swatch Library, go to Patterns, Basic Graphics, and Basic Graphic Dots. So we're going to use some of these dots, and if you'll look at View and Outline, you can see what we've got here. So we've got these outside big radial things we're going to put some pattern into. Go back to Preview. So with your selection tool, select the edge of one of these. If the appearance panel is not open, be sure to open it. Double click on Contents. And we want to duplicate the fill. So if you have the fill selected, and then go to the menu and say Duplicate Item. So we've got two fills. This one we are going to fill with the DPI 60%. So that puts that pattern in it. And we're finished with the dots panel, so you can close it down. Double click on the Scale tool to bring up that menu. And we're going to increase this to 160%. Now the other fill at the bottom, we want to put in dark orange. And let me see if I can remember where there's a dark orange right there. Also in the appearance, or in the, the transparency menu up here, change it from normal to overlay and change the percentage of opacity down to 70%. I'm sorry, we chose the wrong thing there. We want to go to the path and select the path when we do the overlay and the 70% so that it puts it behind. Now, several of us have been learning how to do a mask. We did a mask in the last chapter, so we'd like to do a mask here so that we can cut off all of the extra things on the outside of this. We want to draw a box. Let me see if I can get back to my rectangle. I'm going to create a new layer to do this, and then draw a box. I'm going to draw it right over this black edge. Now I really want that one up at the top of everything, and I want no fill, and I want no stroke. Then we want to select all of this, making sure it's on the top, Object, Clipping Mask, Make. So that just takes out all of those edges. The next thing we're going to do is to create a pattern. So click down in the Fill, and we want to use the dark red. Stroke is none. Choose the rounded rectangle and just click anywhere because we want to put in a specific size. We're going to do 0.7 inches. Whoops. Let me undo that. I've moved a little too quickly. 0.7 here and 0.3 on the corner radius. So this gives us a little bitty circle, take that and drag it to the swatches panel. We want to name it dots. That's going to be our new pattern. And we can get rid of this one over here. Select this bar at the bottom, this banner. With that selected, we are going to fill it with this new pattern that we created. So that's what you end up with it looking like. And the stroke, we want to do the stroke in the CMYK red, which I believe is that one, and we want to put it on the inside.